Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Peachy and this channel is all about my Sylvanian Families collection. For today's video, I thought we could take a look at another piece that's new to me but is very vintage, and it is this piece here, which is the Sylvanian Families Harvester Restaurant. This set was put out by Tomy, you can just see there, here in the UK in around about 1994. This is a collaboration piece. Harvester Restaurants is an actual brand of restaurants here in the UK, so this is a collaboration with them to put their brand onto a Sylvanian building. This restaurant chain was pretty popular, probably in the 80s, but definitely in the 90s. I remember going there a lot as a child with my grandparents. It's not quite as popular these days, but it's definitely still open. It's just nowhere near as popular as it used to be. I don't think there'd be any collaboration brand deal today, but it's really cool that this was able to exist, and it just feels like a real piece of 90s nostalgia and history wrapped up into Sylvanian families. In the Sylvanian lore, this restaurant is run by Basil and Suzette Simpkins. Basil is the chef and Suzette is the kind of hostess, waitress character. You can see they've got some very cute uniforms. These are the Tomy editions of the figures. I also have Flair editions. You can see just here. We'll do a little comparison a bit later in the video, but the Flair editions were marketed to go with the Grand Hotel, keeping the same roles though as chef and waitress slash hostess. If we take a look in the Sylvanian Families 40th collection book, we can see that Japan did get a version of this restaurant. It's just here, called the Forest Restaurant, from 1993. You'll see that a lot of the accessories are the same. It's pretty much the same, but there is different colorations, and this is not a collaboration piece. It's its own restaurant rather than being a collaboration with an actual restaurant brand. So this Harvester version I think was exclusive to the UK because of the brand tie-in. So order for the video, we'll take a look at the box, then we'll get the building out and have a look at the building itself and all the accessories it comes with. And then at the end we'll have set it up all nicely and we'll have a look at it with figures in and take a closer look at it all set up. So if I pop Basil and Suzette off to the side just for a moment and we take a look at the box, you can see down here the big Tomy logo and the over 100 pieces. Harvester Restaurant, and it says figures are not included just here. I love this image on the box. It's got that really wonderful 90s nostalgic vibe. We've got the Marmalade Bear family just here. We can see the truffle board just in the window here, and also the Van Dyke Otter family. It's got the cartoony style of houses on the box with the sky and the clouds and the very green grass. You can also see the mill on the hill, or the old windmill over here. I love this old style of box, it's super nostalgic. You can also see up here there was a promotion run with this, so you could get free meals for children at the Real Harvester Restaurant. Unfortunately, this offer closed on the 30th of September 1997, so we're a little bit late for that, but there would have been a voucher inside. This one I bought secondhand, so the voucher wasn't included, probably used by whoever bought this back in the 90s, but this I think is just a really cool little bit of nostalgia as well. I'd love to see what that voucher actually looked like. On this side of the box we can see the inside of the restaurant. You can see it's also got multilingual on this side, so it must have been available at least in Europe. And on this side we've got the same picture here again, and it's in more multilingual versions. On the back we've got a really big image of the inside, so you can see that a lot better, all the pieces all set up inside the building. And there's some little warnings and things just down here. On the bottom of the box we just have the barcode and some more warning information. And on the top we have the little carry handle. These are always fun, especially when I was a child. I remember using that. And then it's got a little bit of blurb here, so it says, if you want a warm welcome, the finest food and superb service, then you can do no better than the Sylvanian Harvester Restaurant, the smart place to be seen in Sylvania. The thing about these older sets is they don't always include the usual flat lay image that we'd be used to seeing, which shows you all the items that came in the set. So it kind of becomes a little bit of a guessing game as to whether it's complete or not based by what you can see in the pictures. I've had a look through the accessories that this came with and the pictures on the back, and I think I'm just missing a knife, and I think I also have maybe some extra bits, but just take this with a grain of salt because it can be a little bit difficult to tell what was and wasn't originally included without that flat lay image. But that's the box done, so let's have a look at the building itself. So here we have the building out of the box. You can see it's got this lovely green, white and brown colour scheme. The green especially was very prominent in the old Harvester building, so I think that's probably why it's got this lovely green colour. Just so happens that it's also that same tomey green that we saw in a lot of furniture from this time period. It's the standard kind of oblong style of building with the slatting to make it look like wood. I really like the frontage of this one though. It's got this kind of cute, almost bay-esque window on this side with the brown to be the window details. It has no glass in it or acrylic, but I still think it looks quite effective. It's then got two matching normal windows over on this side and double doors into the restaurant which do open and close. There's also a little step up here. The gold detailing on these handles is really nice. It's a really nice gold metallic colour. And then there are two little holders here for lanterns, which we'll get out and attach in a minute, and also just over here for a sign. You can see the sign on the top is Harvester Restaurants, big and bold, but this can be removed should you want to turn the building into something else potentially. It also has these side pieces, which also just clip on, just like that. This was present on some of these buildings at the time because you can stack other buildings on top of them if you want to. Get one of those on either side just to finish the top of the walls. And then there's some nice details on this Harvester sign, just some little swirls. You can see the sticker's in really good condition considering how old it is, with the old Harvester logo and these pretty flower-esque design. That is just plain on the back though. And that clips on just onto the front here like so, and it's pretty sturdy, but you couldn't probably lift the building using it. The sides are just plain white and slatted, very typical for buildings of this time period. And just, oops, see how easily that came off. Exactly the same on the other side, just the same white slatting. And then let's also take a look at the empty inside. So it's got the kind of plyboard wood-esque floor, the one that looks like this underneath. You can also see it's got these brackets which could hold a light, or the light style at the time, which would slot into these, meaning it could be stacked. You can see the back side of the windows. These aren't painted on this side, so it's quite plain white inside, and there's no detail on the walls. They're just smooth, but you can see some of the ridging coming through the plastic. I really like these old wood floors. They look really nice and realistic. So that's the front and back of the building. Let's just turn it around to the front again and we can put those details on which I spoke about. So first up, two little gold lanterns. These are quite typical of this style of building. Usually they'd have some sort of lantern on the front. These ones have some acrylic plastic in to look like glass, and I really like the colour on them. They just clip either side of the door, just like that, and just make it look, I think, just that little bit more detailed and welcoming. There's then also a swing sign. This one obviously has the Harvester Restaurant logo on it, some nice swirled details, and it doesn't swing or anything like that, but it's moulded to look like this kind of sign would do. The problem with some of these older swing signs is you can see here it's slightly damaged. This would usually be a hook to really secure it into the building. This plastic, because of the age, tends to get a little bit brittle, so these oftentimes can be snapped off. It's an easy fix with some blue tack, which is what I'm going to do with it, but just something to watch on buildings of this age. And there we go, you can see that fits on quite happily just with a bit. I've gone for white tack since the building's white and it's less obvious, but you could equally use blue tack or any kind of sticky tack. You could also glue it into place if you weren't worried about taking it off again. Whilst we're talking about certain problems that buildings of this age can have, with this one in particular, it being this lovely white creamish colour, when I was looking at listings for these, quite common that there'll be some yellowing or discoloration of the plastic, especially as it's been exposed to sunlight over time or just age in general. This one, there's a little bit on the inside, but the outside is looking pretty pristine. Again, that is just something to watch out for lighter coloured buildings of this kind of time period. And to be honest, it can happen to any kind of white plastic, really. This set did come with instructions, which were luckily included. So you can see there showing how to put the lamps on, how to put the sign in. Some tables and tablecloths, which we'll see in a minute. It's just showing you where those locations go, these top bits. There's also some lanterns that can be stuck inside. It looks like it came with double-sided sticky tape to be able to do that. Some stickers to go onto bottles and some rope parts that needed to be tied around some implements. And then it's got them in English and then a number of other languages just here. You can see it's talking about how to make up the menus and using the sticky pads, etc, etc, where to put the stickers and things. It's always nice when second-hand sets do come with the original instructions. It's just a nice thing to have. Then I don't have all the card pieces, but I do have some of them. So here we have some are punched out and included separately. I think I am missing one of these big ones, but the food here is on these card punch outs that you can add onto the plates. I also have one of the sticker sheets with some of the stickers unused. So there is a painting, and the person who had this before me has obviously chosen this one, but you could also have this lovely landscape one. And then here's some stickers that need to be applied to the drinks bottles and also the salt and sugar boxes. We can do that a little bit later, but just interesting that it did come with some bits unused. Now let's turn it around and start looking at the furniture and accessories it came with and also decorating the inside at the same time. So we can start with the big furniture pieces, and first up, can't have a restaurant without a cooker to cook all of the lovely food on. And we have this one, which is a older style looking cooker. I love the look of this. It does have one part which can open, which is just here, and you can pop things in there. It's not super detailed in there, and because of the colour it's quite difficult to see inside, but there is grid lines on there like a grill. Then also has two hobs just on the top there. Again, it's just a little bit difficult to see because of the black on black colour. I like the plastic used on this. Looks pretty realistic to how this kind of cast iron cooker would look. And it says just on here, Sylvanian oven. Lots of nice detail. We then also have this nice sink piece come Welsh dresser. Places to hang some utensils. It's got shelves for storage. This part, if I can grab it, opens up and you can see the underneath of the sink just there. Then also has 3 little drawers which also open up. These would be great for putting the cutlery accessories in. And then we have a matching slightly smaller Welsh dresser style. Again, it's in this lovely brown plastic, very typical for this time period. And again, it has 3 nice drawers that can all open up on this. Plenty of storage in the kitchen. And they all fit perfectly along that back wall to form the kind of staff kitchen area. These 2 brown furniture pieces, we see these moulds reused in the Applewood department store, specifically in the Pippin's Cafe section. And you'll see that for some of the other glasses and things, we do see them make a reappearance in Pippin's Cafe, which was interesting because that came out during the Flair era. So they'd obviously dug these moulds out again for reuse. We then also have this piece. Now this is a little bit plainer than I'd usually expect for this time period. It's got some nice wooden slatting on the front and some moulding around the bottom. It does have the sink piece in here, but it is just hollow underneath. There's a little kind of dry rack there, and then a little bit of counter space for prep and things. You can see the sink plug is just open there. This is used as a dividing piece to kind of just pop there and separate off the kitchen piece from the rest of the restaurant. It makes sense, it makes a nice division between the 2 areas. For the restaurant side, we of course need some chairs and tables. So let's start with the tables. You get 2 of these, they're the same, so we'll take a close look at one. Comes with this lovely fabric tablecloth in this very restaurant kind of traditional red and white check. Underneath it is the Tomy era green plastic. It's got a nice little bit of detail on here, but it is quite a plain table. The tablecloths are affixed with a double-sided tape. So you get 2 tables. They actually go that way round, otherwise you won't be able to get the chairs underneath. And then 4 chairs for those tables. So these are once again Tomy green. They are all the same, so let's just have a look at this one. Pretty standard chair mould for this time. A little bit of detail on the back, but nothing overly amazingly detailed, but I think that's fine. Works as a chair. And in this case, it kind of works with the green theming of the building. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it out like it is on the box, but you could also push those tables together and have like a table for 4, like a bigger one. But we'll go ahead and do 2 tables for 2. Finally, on the slightly larger accessories, we have this painting. So this is the one I mentioned where this person had obviously selected this portrait of flowers. Could also have this landscape just here and pop it in the same frame, but we're going for this portrait one. It does have some sticky tape on the back. It's kind of a little bit sticky, so we'll try and stick it, but probably needs reapplying considering the age. But I'm going to go ahead and just pop that on the wall over here. So we've just got a nice little bit of artwork on the wall to brighten up the place. Other wall affixing items, we have these 2 sconces. They are the same, so I'll just show you one. These are kind of a gas lantern style. You can see it's got the little knob there that you would turn on to light them or let the gas through and then light them. These are really nicely detailed. They've got that very classic vintage Sylvanian vibe. I really like these. I've just affixed some new tape onto them, so I'm going to pop them on the wall now. There we go, they can attach just like that. The grip doesn't feel that great, so I don't know whether they're going to make it the whole way through the video, but we shall see. And now we'll move on to all the small accessories. There are an absolute ton, so we'll probably whiz through these quite quickly or we're going to be here forever. Let's start with the kitchen items and then we'll set the tables with all of the rest of the items. So we have this gold till. This is quite typical mould for what we'd see at this time period. It is interestingly sealed off on the bottom though, which is quite nice. It shows it just like that on the box. We then also have an array of gold copper-esque kitchen pans. So we've got a baking tray there. We have this quite tall saucepan with a separate lid. We have 2 frying pans. A kind of muffin tin. A teapot or kettle with another little removable lid. This one also has a metal handle. 2 of this type of pan. 2 different sizes. I'm not really sure what this type of pan is for, but you get 2 of it in 2 different sizes for whatever it's for. If you know, let me know down in the comments. There's then also this pan. It's a slightly kind of smaller but tall kind of saucepan. You then also get this one, which is a flatter kind of version, and this one, which is a really big kind of stew pot version. That lid may also be actually for this pot. It seems to fit on there a bit better, and that would make sense because then all 3 of them have lids. There's also a ladle and a spatula for cooking utensils. And I really love this kind of goldy coppery colour. It feels very realistic. There's a few more kitchen bits. So we have this chopping board with a string kind of holder so you could hang it up if you wanted to. A kitchen knife. This is nice, it's got a nice bit of detail on it. And also this, which I think is kind of for mashing. It looked like a hairbrush when I first saw it, but I think it's actually for kind of mashing up potatoes and things like that, again with that string on it. And then 2 boxes. I've gone ahead and applied those stickers I showed you earlier in the video. We've got 1 for salt, 1 for sugar, and they just lift off and they're just plain kind of brown boxes. So let's get all that put in the kitchen. Then for the table area, we have 2 little what look like maybe gas powered table lamps to go on the table. We have some menus, and these are fun because I remember when the Harvester menus used to look very much like this. You've got your starters, soups, salads, main courses, desserts, soft drinks, wines, and the children's menu, and you can read all of it. I absolutely love that. And you get 3 of those. I'm not sure how many of these you were supposed to get, but I have 3. And they're a really thick cardboard. There's an ice bucket. No ice in this one. There's 2 serving trays. One smaller than the other, slightly smaller than the other. Very handy for Suzette. There's some napkin holders. These again might look familiar from the Applewood department store Pippin's Cafe. These little pink napkins to go in. There's 8 of these. I have no idea if these are original or not. They are just plain paper, so they could well be a replacement. Salt and pepper mills. There's 2 pepper, 2 salt. Nearly dropped that on the floor. So there's a salt and pepper for each table. Then just taking the camera off the tripod for these, you can see there are 8 bottles. So we've got strawberry juice, we've got a kind of just soda juice, melon soda juice, and Sylvanian wine. These are really nicely detailed. The plastic is kind of translucent. Very nice. We then have all manner of different glasses and dishware and cutlery. I got it wrong. It's a spoon I think I'm missing, one of these soup spoons. All the different glasses is really interesting. You might recognise these again from Pippin's Cafe, all these different kind of shapes of glasses in pairs. And then I also have these bits which were included, but I don't think came with the set. I could be wrong, but I couldn't see any of these specifically on the box, but hey, I've got some extra bits. And that's all the accessories, so let's get these into the building. And there we have everything all set up. I've just taken you off the tripod so you can see a little bit closer. I haven't popped any of the extra accessories that came with my particular one in at the moment, just because I wanted you to see it kind of as I think it was meant to be, complete minus 1 spoon. But you can see that everything kind of has a place. There's room enough for all the accessories, but the accessories are so plentiful it makes the place look really, really alive. Even the little cardboard circles that go on the plates just add something to make it look a little bit more realistic. Yes, it would have been nice if they were actual food pieces, but I think that's kind of a nice halfway house considering how many accessories this building does come with. Before we wrap up for today, let's just have a quick look at Basil and Suzette. So here they are. Very, very cute characters. So Basil is in his lovely chef whites. He's got this light green, very, very light green neckerchief on. He is a mouse character, so if I take his little hat off, you can see his mouse ears. He is in the very traditional mouse mould. I absolutely love this mould. I think it's so cute and very realistic. And then we have Suzette. She's such a pretty cat. I love this cat mould. I love her little kind of eyeliner eyes. She's got these fluffy bits on the side to make her look extra fluffy. She's got this lovely, almost reminds me of the otter tails, the Tomi era otter tails. She's got this beautiful pink and white striped dress, and then it's got this apron over the top, sewn in here, but this part does fold down and then it ties in a bow at the neck. Also this cute little head accessory, which is really pretty delicate lace, just attaches on with elastic. And these are the Tomi editions. You can see they've got the gold stickers on their feet. And then I also have the Flare edition of these two characters. So let's just do a very quick side-by-side comparison. So here is Basil and Basil. I think the face mould is just very slightly different. You just see there, just maybe very slightly. But the chef's whites themselves, they look very, very similar. The gripping hands are very slightly different. These ones have a kind of tighter mould. But again, very, very similar. And then for Suzette and Suzette, again, the design is very similar. They've got the same kind of pink and white striped dress with the apron. The execution is slightly different though. This one is a lot paler on the Flare era figure. And the lace is different between the two. Construction is the same though. We can also see that the Flare era has a posable tail, whereas the Tomi era's is just floppy. Head accessory is the same design as well, but different lace used to execute it. And in terms of the mould, I think the gripping hands on the Flare era one are just very slightly bigger. And in terms of the face moulds, again, maybe the Flare era one is just very slightly bigger, but they are incredibly similar figures. I do think the dress on the Tomi era one is just slightly nicer in its construction. It's got this kind of nice poof to it that the Flare era one doesn't quite have as much. Still a very detailed outfit though. This one does have elasticated poofy sleeves though, which are very nice. And that brings me to the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this vintage set with me. Let me know down in the comments what you think of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.